Thank you for joining me during the build of this tiny camper that I will be pulling with my Can-Am motorcycle. Here I am at Home Depot picking up my supplies, backed it up into the garage, and I slowly take everything off. Got the 2x4s that I'll be using for the floor frame. Got the styrofoam that I'll be using for the insulation and the floor. Half-inch finished plywood, really nice stuff for the sides. And that's the plywood for the bottom, which I actually ended up using something different because that plywood was very, very heavy. Here I am, I'm weighing the trailer to get the idea of what the maximum actual weight of it is. And in a minute, I will take off those bars, those crossbars that you see there. Those are for kayaks. This is a rock and roll Yamika brand trailer. And with everything on it, it weighed 161 pounds. That included the tire, the spare tire, and those cross members. I'm removing the cross members. I think after I removed everything, I saved about 15 pounds. So the process is obviously simple. Get the brackets off. A very nice trailer. If you want a trailer for kayaks, for boats, for anything like that, this is a great trailer. Now we'll attack in that spare tire. I thought, hey, I'll take a time and just go ahead and mount it down there, but I didn't want to fiddle with it. So I checked my weight again, wrote it down, see what the difference was. Like I said, I think I saved about 15 pounds. So here I am, I'm putting the frame for the floor together, 2x6s. I'm sorry, 2x4s. Doing a little cutting. Now I lay everything out, a little spacing there to see where I want it to sit. And I measure what my backside's going to be. Got those boards out. That's the wrong size screw, so I decided, you know what? I better go to Home Depot and buy a pocket screw thing. So I went to Home Depot, I got the pocket screws, I drilled out the pocket screws, and here I am with my good old liquid nails and my pocket screws. Now, FYI, guys, I'm doing all of this from what I learned in shop back in 1981 in high school, so if I'm doing things that look backwards or wrong, take it easy on me. Hey, here I put down the foam, the insulation foam, and the floor. Entering it off. Now I'll go ahead and I'll screw it in. Now, where I messed up is I made the trailer wider than 48, And as you can see, if I would have made it 48, then that sheet of plywood would have fit on there perfectly, but I wanted to take up as much room as I could, and I goofed up. And you'll notice that when I put the roof in. Here I am getting ready to cut the sides. Across, get my little angle in the front. And there we go. So currently it's 8 feet long. I figured, you know what, I'm just going to leave it 8 feet. Why cut it down to 6? Originally it was going to be 6 feet long, but I figured I've got the plywood. Let's just do the whole sheet. And as you see towards later on in the video, I actually end up changing my mind and shortening it up by 2 feet. No lack of screws there. Here I'm marking in the interior foam just so that it's easier later on. I did miss the video when I put the cross members up there, but you get the idea. I'm putting some 2x2s around the sides there so I have a place to adhere my material to in the front. Maybe I didn't need it. Maybe I needed it. I don't know. The total weight of the trailer once it was finished, it was a total of 320 pounds. So I thought that was pretty good. Putty. As you can see, I ran short on wood and I mended a little piece there, which is not really that visible once it gets painted. Now it's paint time. You say, why that orange? Well, that orange perfectly matches my Can-Am Spyder. And that is exterior latex paint, Bears. Eventually it will get 2 coats. This is the first coat. It took me 2 gallons to do the entire trailer with 2 coats. I will probably in the next week or so, once it's cured, I'll probably put another 2 coats on it. Here I am with my friend who let me borrow his garage, cutting out the little windows. Unfortunately, I put the windows in wrong. Once I put it on, I realized that the weep hole was facing to the back where it should have been moved to the bottom. That's something that I'll work on later on and figure out a remedy for it. But for now, that's the way they go. Probably should have used a little bit more silicone now that I'm looking at it. And there we are, put those little braces so that it folds. So now the windows are in. We're going to take it off the trailer real quick so that we can put the holes on the trailer so that we can affix the and this is where I decided. I came in the next morning. I went, you know what, this thing is too long. So I cut it down 2 feet, and now I'm here creating the back wall for it. Now I had gone with something different, and this morning I decided that I was going to put the door on the exterior instead of putting it on with a simple piano hinge or door hinge. I decided I wanted to use something that you would use for a heavier door. So of course I had to put those blocks on there so that the hinges line up. And my buddy was going on a cruise, so now this was all solo. But it was okay. Um, Sanding. Obviously, I didn't use the pretty plywood on the backside, but already have some holes. Get ready to give it another coat on the sides and one on the back. Here I am trimming the excess off the roof. Nice little sand, make it even. And you can see that cut right there up on the top, which is some kind of a shiny stuff. That's where the mending is for the 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood that butt together, because again I had to get 2 pieces of plywood and put them sideways instead of one long piece. And again, that's where I goofed off. Here I am dusting her off, putting down some protective sheathing so I don't mess up my buddy's garage floor. Kind enough to let me do that. And there we go. Coat of paint to the back. First coat on the roof. By the way, that t-shirt, my son gave it to me. I always wear it when I do dad stuff. Here I am, I'm cutting the tongue on the trailer because the tongue was extremely long. Again, this was for kayaks. So I cut that. Here I am putting the lock on the back door. I'll probably just put a little regular hinge on the back side and close it in. Right now I'm marking and measuring for the roof vent, the 12 bolt powered roof vent, and it actually has an auto close if it rains. some liberal amount of silicone, and it's a perfect fit. Little extra silicone. Boy, if there's something I dislike to do is work with silicone. Here I am, I'm putting the phone panels inside now. And let me tell you something, if you work with this great stuff, wear gloves because it just doesn't come off of your fingers for days. I'm not going to finish the inside yet until I've taken on this maiden voyage and figure out how I want to do the inside. I might go with something, you know. But there she is, folks. All done. Follow me, subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and you'll join me in the next voyage.